I'm really mad right now, and I am. I know most people think that because I don't smile very much that means I'm mad all the time and I'm just always angry. Okay. Oh, sorry, I smiled there. That I let down my angry look. But in all honesty, I am very angry about a book that I'm reading right now. Sent to the ministry. I'm going to go into the shop here. It was sent to the ministry by a brother in the UK, and I've been reading this book. I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I started reading it, and it's made me very angry. Go into the shop here. And I'm going to show you what the book is, the offending book. We're going through a lot of stuff right now, trying to get some things reorganized. I'll show you real quickly. There's a bunch of stuff back in here that I need to clean up. This man that had this place here, he amassed quite a bit of things over the years, and going through all of his stuff, it's mind-boggling sometimes. But here, where the workbench is, let me turn this light on quick so we can see a little bit better. That whole bench was covered, and it actually had plywood on top of it. And write it in the comments. I'm not sure what this is called. Some kind of it's carpentry, not carpentry, but some kind of a metalworking thing or something, because the whole thing is steel and has these grooves in it, you know, down in here, and it's got grooves up in here that have sort of a, like the T shape type of thing. Almost, it goes, so you'd have, you know, some kind of little fixtures or jigs or something in there. I don't know. And then it has these holes in it. But this whole thing is steel. And I had to take that plywood that was on there. I'm going to be putting some more plywood on today. But all the stuff, all the different screws and nails and everything. And I moved the steel rack from over there, brought it over here, painted it. And then I'm putting old peanut containers and pickle containers and other types of things, rice and couscous containers. Keep those and then organize the things into that, rather than these little pull-out drawer things and whatever. I had a bunch of those too that I got from my father. That generation, they would, you know, whenever something breaks, you take it apart and you keep the nuts and the bolts and the screws and whatever else. But so that's that. Getting things organized right now. We found some really neat stuff in here. Just unreal, the kind of things that this guy had. Some very unique items. But enough about that. I'll go over here. I'm going to show you the offending book. The book that's got me angry. But for a different reason than most people think. Turn the light on here. Everybody can say hi to the, well, not say hi, but my old, right there. If you're aware of the original channel name of this channel, right there is what it was named after. My Husqvarna 394 XP. Husky 394 XP was what the original channel name was. But, so there it is. That was my pro saw back when I used to log, but whatever. You want to see the book? It's making me very mad, but for a different reason. This book right here, Dispensationalism Before Darby by William C. Watson. You say, why would you be mad at that? You're a dispensational preacher. I'm mad at it because he said in the, I think it was the introduction or something, he said this book is not going to be written from a standpoint of being a pleasure to read and whatever. This book will be written as a fact book, a book that just presents quotations, historical quotations. And I'm mad about that because I've heard so much over the years about how dispensationalism is a new heresy and whatever. And back when I first started to study it, I did read about some of, you know, there were some early Christians that did believe variations of it and whatever. Reading this book, it is crystal clear. Christians, real Christians, were always dispensational. And in fact, for the first 300 years, I'm going to show you this in the next video, I'm going to read some of that. For the first 300 years, Christians were dispensational. And even heretic church historians and things like Philip Schaff, I think was the one guy, which I wouldn't even consider the man to be a saved man, but Even he admitted that dispensationalism was the primary system of belief for the first 300 years, till the Roman Catholic Church was formed in the 4th century. And just reading this, I'm thinking the evidence, the proof for dispensationalism is so strong. And yet these devils keep coming out and just saying, there was no, dispensationalism was created by John Nelson Darby in 1820. The rapture theory isn't any older than 1820, 1820, 1820, 1820. And I'm realizing I'm not dealing with people that can handle facts here. I'm dealing with propagandists. That's what I'm dealing with. And, I'm as hardcore as you're going to get in terms of being a radical nut dispensational preacher. But it shakes my faith sometimes when I constantly hear this propaganda being hitting me all the time. And that's what makes me angry, because this historical proof is so strong for dispensationalism being there in the first couple of centuries and the whole way up through in heretic groups, the groups that the Catholic Church deemed to be heretical. It's so strong. And yet we're just told constantly, the popular media, oh, it's 1820, 1820, 1820. They just keep putting that number out there. It's in mainstream media even. I've seen mainstream media. Tucker Carlson was interviewing this wicked Orthodox nun or something. Okay, book, chapter, and verse on that one, please. Where are Orthodox nuns in the New Testament? And she was, the rapture theory. It's Christian Zionism came from the rapture theory in 1820. And they just keep repeating this over and over again. 1820, 1820, 1820, 1820. And yet the proof from a college professor, wrote that book, college professor, and he's showing the quotes that go back literally to the 1st and 2nd century. Some of the church fathers were even dispensational. But, that's what we have to deal with right now. And unfortunately, what a lot of these church buildings don't realize, a lot of these, old timers and things, they'll just kind of, they stick with their church building and their seminary and whatever, and they think to themselves, we're going to hold the fort here. Hold the fort for I am coming, the old hymn. And we're just going to hold on to the fort. We'll hold on to the old faith and we'll be fine. But they don't understand how fast heresy can spread online. And men like me, I'm trying in my very best with my feeble efforts to try to stem the tide of this heresy that's coming in and these lies and this propaganda. Not easy. So I'm going to do a video now, actually reading part of chapter 1, the chapter that really made me mad, just with the quotations and things, that it's just crystal clear that Christians are dispensational, and that they have been for a very long time. It's not a new heresy. It's not something that just came out or whatever else. That's not true. So, but hopefully you like the little update here. We've taken so many loads of stuff out of here and things, but I'll tell you a little story here. I actually talked to a neighbor in the area here. He stopped in, we were talking, and these crosscut saws that are above the window there, the two, I can't, well, I'll show you this one here. I don't want to show the name of the place, but let me see if I can get in here. I'll have to change the viewfinder around. Property of, I think he said Friel Lumber. And caution, very sharp tool. And he's right. It is a very sharp tool. But right there, Smyrna Mills, Maine. Okay. And this Friel Lumber, this guy I was talking to, it's his uncle that owned that. And he said it's no longer there. The mill was taken down and whatever else, but those crosscut saws were part of that. And I don't know if they traded them to the guy that owned this property or whatever. I don't know. But pretty neat seeing these old crosscut saws and things. And I'd like to use them sometime. And then if you can see up here above me on the wall up there, those are bow saws. These two saws up here. And again, they'd be used for firewood cutting and things, You get a really good fine-tuned bow saw. They saw pretty quickly. Not like a chainsaw, obviously, but You don't go deaf. You don't have to spend any money on gas, although you do have to have good fuel for your body. Eat some good meat and things like that to use saws like that. But he has a one-man crosscut saw out here in the garage, which I'll be bringing in here eventually. I have one from my grandfather. I like old saws, old technology, stuff like that. I like things that are old. And dispensationalism is old. It's not a new heresy. Oh, and by the way, the old metal lathe right here, this thing, this orange old metal lathe, this big, huge thing, I found out, did a little bit of research on it. I'll probably do a separate video on this. But F.E. Reed Company, Worcester, Massachusetts, they actually go back to the late 1800s and early 1900s. I think they went out of business in 1917 or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere in the early 19 teens. So this thing's probably, it's over 100 years old, but I don't know when exactly it was made. I found a website and they had some of these old ones on it, but this thing here has got a lot of stuff on it that I didn't see any other metal lathes have. So not sure what I'm doing with that thing yet. Definitely not going to be using it. It's in its condition currently. It's very dangerous. It's got the belt here, the leather belt's got some pretty bad cracking in it. The pulleys here have some bad cracks. So, crack going the whole way through it. Has some issues with it, but so I'll be getting rid of it eventually, but I'm not sure how or where or whatever else. We're talking about even the possibility maybe of selling it to or donating it to a museum in the area. Not sure if I'm going to do that yet, but finally have a place to hang up my axes here, there, and some of my other axes and splitting mauls and things over there, and three of my chainsaws right there, Husqvarna. So, okay, enough show and tell. But I'm going to go on to the next video. I'm actually going to read from this book, just mind-blowing, and I want to encourage those of you that are dispensational and you get hounded all the time by these preterists and amillennial fools and everything else, non-dispensationalists. Just, oh, your beliefs are new. The Jesuits created it. Oh, I don't think the Jesuits were there in the first few centuries. But I just want to encourage you and strengthen your faith in the scriptures and the proper understanding of the scriptures, which is dispensational. So that's going to be it. See you in the next video.